Hello fellow musicians and music enthusiasts. In this video we're going to talk about the Level 6 RCM Practical Piano Exam. Everything here is based on the 2022 syllabus, which was released by the RCM in March of 2022, and this recording is taking place in September of 2022. We're going to cover topics such as the overview of each section of the exam, the substitutions that you're allowed to make, the grading scheme, and any changes that were made from the 2015 syllabus. So let's get into it. First of all, the overview of our exam as usual. So we have our three main sections: repertoire, technical requirements, and musicianship. Let's start by talking about the repertoire section. For the repertoire, we're going to have to learn three pieces, each one from each of these lists. So list A is still our Baroque repertoire, list B, classical and classical style repertoire, and list C, romantic, 20th and 21st century repertoire. And of course, as usual, you can earn 2 extra marks per piece if you have it memorized. For the technical requirements, we have our technical tests. Let's talk about the scales first. So scales, of course, have to be played hands together now. We have 4 major scales that we need to prepare: G, E, B, and D flat major. And we need to know 4 minor scales: G, E, B, and C sharp minor, both harmonic and melodic versions. We also need to know 2 formula pattern scales: E major and E minor harmonic. And we need to know chromatic scales starting on E and D flat. Let's talk about the chords. So for the triads, these need to be played hands together. And just like with the scales, we need to know 4 major ones, so G, E, B, and D flat, and 4 minor triads, G, E, B, and C sharp, and all of these need to be played in broken or solid form. For the dominant 7th chords, these are to be played hand separate, and they will be either G, E, B, or D flat dominant 7th. Also, we need to know them in both broken and solid forms. Now, the new section here, or the new addition for Level 6 exam, are the LTs, which stands for leading tone diminished 7th chords. These are also to be played hand separate, and these will be based on our minor keys, or minor scales, which are G, E, B, or C sharp minor, again in broken and solid forms. Next, we have our arpeggios. So we still have our tonic arpeggios for our major keys, G, E, B, and D flat, and for our minor keys, G, E, B, and C sharp. Now we have another new addition, which are the arpeggios for the dominant 7th chords based on our major keys, so G, E, B, and D flat. And we also now need to learn arpeggios for our leading tone diminished 7th chords based on our minor keys, so G, E, B, and C sharp minor. And of course, for the other component of the technical requirements, which are the etudes, we still need to know 2 etudes, just like in the previous level. Let's move on now to the musicianship. So we have our ear tests and sight reading, as we have seen before. Ear tests includes intervals, chords, chord progressions, and playback. And sight reading section includes rhythm and playing. So let's talk about what intervals we're going to have to be able to identify for this level. So we're going to have to identify minor second, minor third, major third, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, minor 6th, major 6th, and a perfect octave. For the chords, we're going to have to be able to identify a major and minor triad, a dominant 7th chord, and a diminished 7th chord. For the chord progressions, we might get a major chord progression, so maybe 1-4-1 or 1-5-1. So we're going to have to be able to tell the difference between these, or we might get minor chords, again 1-4-1 or 1-5-1. For the playback, the possible keys are G or E major or G or E minor, and starting notes could be the tonic, median, dominant, or the upper tonic. Moving on to the rhythm of the sight reading. So our rhythm section might be in one of these time signatures, 3-4, 4-4, or 6-8. And for the playing, we might get a major or a minor key with up to 3 sharps or flats, with possible time signatures of 2-4, 3-4, 4-4, or 6-8. Let's talk about the substitutions now, and this has not changed from the previous level, or levels I should say. So we can substitute a maximum of 2 pieces, one from repertoire and or one from etudes. For the repertoire substitution, one piece can be substituted for a piece from the next higher level, which is level 7, or a list C piece can be replaced with a teacher's choice, which has to be of similar length and difficulty. For the etude substitution, one etude can be replaced with the level 7 etude, or a teacher's choice, or a popular selection list. For the grading scheme, this is exactly the same as we saw in the previous level, in level 5. So we have our repertoire section, worth the most marks, 56, and this is divided into 16 marks for the list A piece, 18 for list B, 16 for list C, and 6 for memorization. Technical requirements, a total of 24 marks, 12 for etudes and 12 for technical tests. And musicianship, 20 marks in total, 10 for ear tests and 10 for sight reading, which brings us to a total of 100, with the passing grade being 60. And just like we saw with level 5, we also have a prerequisite here, which is the level 6 theory. So if we want to get our comprehensive certificate for level 6, in addition to our practical exam, we also need to do the level 6 theory exam. Changes from the 2015 syllabus. Now, this is of course an optional section, but if you're curious, let's talk about these. So first of all, of course, many of the pieces in the books have changed because these are completely new books now. And for the ear tests and sight reading, we have some additional options here to choose from. And again, we saw this also in the if you watched the previous video for the level 5 exam. So let's review for the ear test section. For the playback, if you recall, we have our possible keys of G or E major or G or E minor, and the melody can start on the tonic, median, dominant, or upper tonic. Now, in the new syllabus, we're also given the option of playing back a given question phrase and improvising a 4-measure answer phrase. Okay, and if we choose to do this, our possible keys will be C, G, or F major, and the starting note will be tonic, median, dominant, or upper tonic. Again, you don't have to use this alternative. You can still do it in the original way. For the sight reading, so same thing. For the playing section, if you recall, we have our possible major and minor keys with up to 3 sharps or flats, and with possible time signatures of 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, or 6/8. And now we're given another option here. So from a lead sheet with a melody and root quality symbols, or root quality chord symbols, we can realize an accompaniment based on provided chord symbols. Okay, so if we do this, the possible keys will be major and minor keys with up to 2 sharps or flats, and the possible time signatures will be 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, or 6/8. If you're not too clear about what all of this means, it's a good idea to ask your teacher and practice this together. Okay, and that takes us to the end of our overview of the Level 6 Practical RCM exam. If you are preparing for this exam, we wish you luck, and we'll see you in the next video.